Hey everyone, it's Ricky's Rockin' Reviews, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the Intelligent Dinosaur Theory by Roland Ritter. This is a really unique book, and it follows these two scientists, Ron and George, as they kind of discover these fossilized dinosaur tracks, or at least it seems like dinosaur tracks at first. But with their specialization and their experience, they're able to kind of realize that these footprints are not so normal. So George is actually the one to make this discovery, and he invites Ron to come check it out and give his opinion, because Ron has had a prior history where he kind of wanted to propagate this idea that there was an intelligent species of dinosaur that no one really talks about. It's an avenue of natural history that is not explored. And Ron is the expert at this, and it has kind of come at a cost to his reputation, somewhat. So throughout the book, we're following Ron and George as they're trying to collect as much evidence as possible to really strengthen this theory. And they're pulling from all kinds of sources, from different scientists, different archaeologists and geologists. There's differences in the minerals and the rocks and the KT boundary, which is where the theory of the asteroid hitting the Earth and the impact causing such a disruptive explosion that it eliminated the dinosaurs. But maybe there's more to that. And so that's kind of explored. There are these metal rods that are found in France that kind of give way to the idea that there was these specialized weapons or tools created 65 million years ago or so. And that's typically not in our record books as far as like the Earth's natural history. So that's very strange. We have these bones that are found in Mongolia, but they're kept in a Russian museum under Russian rule, Russian authority, and Russian government. And the story goes in an interesting direction as far as Ron and George trying to obtain these really, really special bones or bone fragments. But what is particularly interesting about this story, this novel, is that it spans millions of years. I'm talking the past, from the beginning of life to the present, and then also the future, which is really, really bonkers, but really interesting. And I think the coolest thing was that we actually do have chapters that visit the past to these ancient intelligent dinosaur species, this undiscovered dinosaur species as of yet. And they have a real culture, they have a real history, and they have a way of life. And it was so interesting to see that, as well as the huge looming threats that they face, which is themselves, really. So this book goes in really fascinating directions when it comes to like philosophical meditations on war, the suppression of information by governments, foreign affairs in general, environmental issues, as well as space exploration and extraterrestrial life. So there's just so many things going on, but it really, really works. I found myself really caring about this ancient dinosaur species. The author here, Roland Ritter, does a really good job of making the story personal for these intelligent dinosaurs. They have families, they have jobs, and this particular family that we're following is a father-son duo. The father works in security for this site, this camp, this like village of dinosaurs. But it's important to make a distinction between them and the dinosaurs that are living at that time, because these are intelligent. They use weapons. They have found modes of transportation, like really advanced stuff, just different machines and stuff like that. And they also recognize the importance of having a society and protecting that society. So this father-son duo, they work in security, and we learn more about how they live. And we have some really exciting sequences where they're trying to protect their people from these actual dinosaurs, like these like carnivorous predators that they call shark tooths. And those are really exciting scenes. As I continued to read, it was just fascinating learning about them and their wants and desires. And I mean, like, the father here is thinking about his legacy and is thinking about the threat of war that they find themselves in. I don't want to spoil anything, but the direction that the story goes is really, really intense. So as you're reading the novel, you're getting these interspersed chapters of Ron and George trying to bring the past to light, and then you're flashing back to what actually happened in the past, and you know that it does not end well, but it's still super impactful whenever we get to this like crazy conclusion for these intelligent dinosaurs. Or is it a conclusion? But what I found really fascinating was kind of seeing how these different scientists come together to formulate the theories and the importance of cooperation. And I had already mentioned some of the things that the book goes into that I was not expecting. The biggest one being war, how heartbreaking it is. What I was most impressed with was how Roland Ritter was able to include so much in the story, and it really does work. And perhaps the biggest like takeaway and the most fun I had was seeing all the parallels between the past, present, and this really cool future, and how it all connected, and all the lessons learned in these different phases of Earth's history. And I was just really immersed, and it kind of brought back and reinvigorated my love for dinosaurs, which I had since I was really young. When I was just a boy, I always wanted to be a paleontologist, and it didn't really pan out that way, but there's always been a piece of my heart that belongs with the dinosaurs. And this was such a trip. I mean, there are so many like big concepts in here that I just really thoroughly enjoyed getting into and kind of opening my mind. And then I really appreciated that at the end, Roland Ritter includes in his afterword so many reasons as to why he decided to write this book. It's considered science fiction, but there's a lot of truth to be had in everything that he was proposing. And it's just really interesting to see. And perhaps one of the other things that I really like about it is how different this is, this being a book about dinosaurs in a way, how different this is from the most famous dinosaur books that there is, and that is Jurassic Park and The Lost World. I'm still going to include them together on my shelf. I think they're really cool. And I just like I was saying right now, I really liked how different this was. There are elements of adventure here, but a lot of it is just really intellectual. I mean, there's even scenes of like depicting hypnosis in a way. And I mean, there's just so much in here. There's a psychology element that's kind of brought in towards the end. And then if you can see how the dinosaurs here are touching this hand, kind of mimicking the famous artwork. If you want a mind-bending trip, then I really highly suggest reading this book. And I'd like to thank Roland Ritter for sending me a copy of this book in exchange for an honest review. And if you guys like what you see here on this channel and want to see more reviews like this, go ahead and give me a like, and I would really appreciate you if you would subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one.